do. Stu Holden, all here with you. We're at the halfway point of both of these games right now. Let's get you right to the highlights of the action from the first.
You know what it is. Look at that possession.
Talking about the pressure, though, can they absorb that pressure for another 45 minutes in this second half? Now, look at that, 70% of the possession.
I'll tell you one thing. They're going to try.
Yeah. Well, we said off camera watching the first half. That's a perfect game plan. Gattuso's probably thinking, this is what I said. Train all week. 2 banks of 4, well, more than 2 banks of 4. Break out, score a goal, happy days.
They've really done a good job of frustrating Barcelona. I mean, at times Messi's got the ball, 6 people around him, movement. Arturo Vidal, I see Setien making a change perhaps. He's playing as a right winger. He's not putting balls in the box. He's not providing any type of dynamic movement in behind, and it's been very static from Barcelona.
And playing wide, he's not a player who's going to ever take a player on 1v1, commit anybody, get a ball in the box, as you were just saying. He's more of a player who's going to play safe, play back, and then try to get on, but there's no space to really attack and exploit. So it's a difficult game, especially for Messi, who's being crowded out, being forced to play backwards at time and just suffocating.
But an away goal?
Ooh.
Goals change key.
All right, we're going to bring you highlights from the day's other fixture that's coming up after a very short break. Stay with us. Mo was asking you about where you would put him in your ranking. The question was top 2. You said yes.
Yeah, he's arguably the best goalkeeper in the world. It's up for debate. I think the difficult part for him is that he can't really get into the German side. You know, Neuer is entrenched in that position.
Who would you rather have in goal, though?
Ter Stegen. At this point.
Really?
Yeah, at this point.
There's been drama, though, hasn't there, in the German camp?
Well, because he's a Bayern Munich.
Started giving him some games.
Yeah, he's a Bayern Munich player, and so obviously Ter Stegen being younger, but he makes incredible saves. He limits his mistakes. He's fantastic with his feet. His time's coming for Germany.
Is it the limited mistakes that makes you feel like he should deserve that nod ahead of Manuel Neuer, who is a little bit error prone?
Well, I think that was Neuer's great attribute. He was always flying out. He was playing sweeper keeper. He was getting away with his mistakes because Germany was winning 5-1, 5-2. Same with Bayern Munich, but they start to get highlighted as you get older.
So Barcelona playing Napoli today. Let's take a look at the Napoli that Ter Stegen is ultimately going to have to try and stop.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, you know, this was how actually they used to line up under Carlo Ancelotti, a 4-2-3-1. At times you would see the second striker come alongside, play a bit more 4-4-2. Gattuso has come in and he has played more of a 4-3-3, which actually defends as a 4-5-1. And one of the principles that you would expect, Mo, that we talked a little about from Gattuso is that this team is going to work. They are going to close down spaces. They are compact. They still have ball possession, but nothing like this team used to be under Sarri and under Ancelotti. And I think that's why it's going to make it difficult today against Barcelona, because at times, especially at home, they press further up the field and they look to put a lot of pressure on the back line and get it to the talented guys like Mertens and Insigne, who can score goals from anywhere on the field.
Yeah, we saw earlier in the season when they played against Liverpool, they make it a difficult place to play. And they don't have any issue conceding possession. They don't mind having 30, 40% of possession. But when they do have the ball, they're effective with it, because in transition, they have guys like Callahan. They have Mertens, who's been on fire. Insigne, their captain, as well. But I think this man here, Demme, has come in and been a steel figure for them in that midfield. And then when you take a look at Barcelona and how they've been transitioning and how they've been playing under Setien, defensively, we think they're going to look a little bit more 4-4-2. You'll see Vidal tuck in on that left side, coming in to drop in to try to make the midfield a little bit more compact and hard to play through. Firpo is going to have a big game ahead of him, especially going against Callahan, and when Mertens drifts into those pockets wide as well.
Yeah, I think Vidal is an interesting one. I mean, he played some of his club soccer in Italy. He knows a team like Napoli well. He has experience. And even in the last match against Eibar, he played as a left winger at times and was a direct outlet. I mean, look, Barcelona are going to look to play out of the back. They're going to be a little bit deeper. You're going to split your center backs. Semedo will come here. Busquets comes in. Rakitic, they all try to get on the ball. But I think one of the keys today, especially, is if you are under a lot of pressure, I think Setien would have said to them, look, play Vidal on the diagonal, then look to play on the second ball and get the magician, little Messi, on the ball pretty much anywhere in these types of areas, and see if Griezmann can really find his way into the game and cause problems for this back line.
You know why he is that outlet, though? Because he's a different profile than your Griezmann or your Messi. If you play a ball deep into him, he's going to fight for it. Even if he's not going to win the first one, he's scrappy enough to try to win the second one. But this is where, as you said, Stu, where Messi and Griezmann have to be key to play off of him, to support him, to win that second ball.
But I look at this, though, Mo, I say, this is potential mistake, potential mistake, potential mistake. And even Piqué, a potential mistake.
Don't forget him.
There's questions about this Barcelona back line. So to your point, Tim, Ter Stegen could have a busy evening away from home in the Champions League with the firepower that Napoli have.
How damaging then do you think that is?
You're going to see a little bit of dueling wide wingers in this one. And does he pick the right moments? Because you can't give away possession in a game like this in a big Champions League night, and knowing that potentially the other way you're exposing your back four.
And I think in the back line, though, like this Bayern Munich team, where there's not a lot of pace, and then we keep talking about the high line, it's vital that his role is going to be very important in tracking back, covering that space, but also being tactically sound. And I'm with you, Stu. I think his growth in such a short period of time has been impressive to see, and I think his ceiling is still even higher than what we've seen so far.
Well, so you mentioned Reece James. I just wonder how expansive he'll be tonight, knowing
James or Davies.
James. Yeah, no, James. I'm wondering how expansive he'll be, knowing that Alphonso Davies is on that wing. He's got, and if he allows him to get a little bit ahead of steam, he's going to have it all to do.
I'm talking about your center backs doing the work. Azpilicueta's like, no, don't go far.
Stay here.
For sure.
You ain't going nowhere.
For sure.
Yeah.
What about Lewandowski? Because we talked about those. It's 42 goals. I think he's scored in all competitions this campaign so far. Is your best chance choking the service to him that will come from those out wide areas?
And choking him too, potentially.
Yeah. Seriously, get him in a headlock.
I mean, he's man on fire, isn't he? I mean, everything he touches right now. And look, we were saying when we were talking about Erling Haaland being the best, one of the hottest strikers in Europe. The only reason that's even an if is because of Lewandowski this season. Right. Every single year, time after time, he is a killer in the box. I mean, when he comes alive, when the ball's in that final third, and that's one that Chelsea are going to have to look for.
Yeah. But I think also Hansi Flick has done a good job of getting the best out of Thomas Müller again, because he's a player that he calls himself the space interpreter.
Space interpreter.
There you go. And his late runs in the box, his partnership with Lewandowski it's been immense. So yes, Lewandowski is a target forward. He is going to score goals no matter what. But then you have the late runs. Tracking his late runs in the box, I think, is also an issue that Chelsea has to be very, very aware of, because he's so good at timing that perfectly, whether it's creating space for himself or creating space for other players to run into. He's a clever player that can really impact this game.
Okay, to your point, I think that Lampard will be very well aware of Lewandowski and stifling the service to him.
All right, we're going to take you to a very short break. Kickoff is next. We're going to be back.